Yeah, I just got the notification.
Nice, nice. It's nice that we're on the old ERO.
Yeah, it's definitely better because more people follow it.
Yep. Hello and welcome to the final showdown in F2. It is McLaren versus Mercedes, Poland versus England, Newman versus Zeman. And I have Bastian Vries in the party with me, just kind of lurking, I suppose, and listening in.
Yeah, listening. I'm gonna be watching to just
Yeah. I
do
probably
that
should
as
just
well.
share. I could probably share my screen to you, and you could actually watch it too, couldn't you?
Uh,
You could probably commentate as well. Um, anyway, let's get this party
yeah,
underway.
but
16
then then
drivers in the
I
grid
then I
today.
could just join with F1.
Yeah, that makes more sense too. Oh, sure, I can't share my screen with you, kind of, because you're on thingy.
Yeah, I'm playing Minecraft.
I'm trying to spell Zeman's name correctly. Iwan Yuk. Yeah, spelled correctly. Right. So, already 3 minutes into qualifying because I went to get a biscuit. And Lex Hod is our man we are following. Not the first man on a flying lap, but so we are following Lex, one of the bigger trolls in the Euro. Very stubborn young individual at times. Seems like a nice kid though. As he goes through the Suzuka S's on the way up the hill, down to the Degnas. As I try to find my track map for Suzuka. Very, very famous track. A lot of famous incidents happen here in the past. Where is it? Where it is? Where Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton have shared the majority of the wins the last nearly 10 years at this point. And Valtteri Bottas has been the only one not named Hamilton or Verstappen since 2017. And even going back further than that, Rosberg in 2016. Regan McKinnon going fastest overall as new Alex Theodore, who is on the strictest of conditions for racing from now on. You are in big trouble if you make a single step out. As our championship rival or leader-elect Zeman Iwanik goes fastest with a 1:29.076. And times beginning to come in. Dawid setting a 1:28.6. So quite a bit off Zeman's time. Lex, slowest of the bunch so far. However, Newman going fastest by not a whole lot, by 8/1000ths of a second. So not a lot to separate the two championship rivals early on. Just to get the standings up here to see who needs to score what this evening. Race results done by Mr. Jaden Carpenter, who's been great all season long.
I
So
think
there's
he has to score sixth or fifth to win the championship.
well, what I see here is that there's 13 points in it between Samuel and Zeman.
Uh, Wait, is it? Yeah, so he has to score 7 points if it's. I don't know
Uh,
how it's with wins. So it's either
with
8 or 7.
8 or 7 with wins. Well, Zeman has a lot more wins. Zeman has 3 wins compared to Sam's 1 win.
Then he has to get P5.
Mm, yeah, so there's 13 points in it to the benefit of Sam. So Sam could finish. Maybe look at the point system again. It's 18 for the win, as we all know.
Yeah, it's P5. P5 gives 8 points and 20 is the maximum you can get in one race.
Yeah, yeah. So it just needs to be Zima needs to win this race and probably get fastest lap. As LeBron James goes P3 with a
He
128.2.
he only needs P2 if Newman retires.
That is true.
Depending if Newman doesn't get fastest lap or pole.
Yeah.
But fast lap will be gone if he DNF, so...
And I think if it boils down to it, I think Monaco really will have played a massive, massive role here in deciding this championship, as Zeman was given a very harsh 10-second penalty under safety car for speeding in the pits. Which will really, it'll change the whole course of things. Vince Vincenza, I know you're listening. I know I'm pronouncing your name wrong and I don't care. Has retired as he had a qualifying ban. Mohamed Issa, Caliuga, Macaroni, whatever you're going to change, or Machiavelli, whatever you're going to change your name to. Thank you for shooting this season, by the way. Currently on his lap, but he's invalidated. Then David Ann, already signed up for next season. Rumor has it he's already going to be in the Haas with Mr. Mark Anderson, wherever Neo is. He's in the Kick Sauber today. As the Ferraris have already been picked for next season in F4, and the Red Bulls, and the McLarens as well, I think, and the Alpines. So a lot of cars already picked in the F4 grid. It's kind of who gets what after that. Anyway, speaking of Mark Anderson, Mr. Anderson coming through the Casio Triangle chicane, and he's going to cross the line. This is going to be the 29s. No, just about in the 30s, and that's slowest of all so far. Alex Theodore coming across the line now, and he's going to set a 129.9. Not very fast for him. Do not leave the lobby today, Alex.
Yeah, that's an important thing. We don't want another crash.
It's just Alex Theodore. He's a good kid. You've just got to be on top of him, I suppose. That's all.
Just gotta hope. He's in a good mood. That's all.
Way of putting it. We are currently running on board, Alex, with nobody really setting a lap. A few people on their out laps. Zeman next on his out lap. He's going to try and probably get 2 more hot laps in. Sam is also out on another hot lap. Or out lap, sorry.
Yeah, position is key around this track.
A fun fact, no Japanese driver has ever won the Suzuka Grand Prix. The Japanese Grand Prix, yeah. Agri Suzuki raced in 1990 and finished in 3rd place. So did Takuma Sato in 2004, but actually, no Japanese driver has won an F1 yet altogether. That's a very interesting stat. Something you'd hope Yuki would be able to change if he ever actually got the Red Bull seat. Regan McKinnon currently on a hot lap as he goes up to the legendary hairpin here where Sergio Perez has killed people, Logan Sargent has killed himself just this season alone. I have a lot of history on this track. Nice, lovely figure of 8 track. Every driver loves going around here. As Regan is now heading around Spoon. And all the way on the rundown. People feel this back straight here should be an actual DRS zone. It would make a lot more sense. As Regan's marginally up on his time. Going through 130R. With the amount of downforce these cars garner and generate, you don't even need to brake there anymore. As Regan's invalidated in the chicane. And straight into the pits he goes. It's just disappointing for him. Anyway, Zeman not really improving. And Sam is a bit behind him as he goes through the hairpin now. Various ways you can take that. You can take a wide berth and then get a more V-shaped exit, or you can get a traditional berth by taking the inside line. As Regan is gone, and we need to get him back. As V-Carb nicely gets out of the way. I think that was Pump Mantis. As Siemens setting a fastest sector 2 now into the chicane he goes. Doesn't invalidate there, doesn't invalidate there. You see the Ferris wheel in the back, keeping a nice tight line here as he comes to the line. It's going to be a 127.781. Now it's up to Samuel Newman to respond to that. In round 2 of this qualifying session between these two titans of this tier. Into the chicane he goes. Doesn't have the best entry, but doesn't have a bad exit by the looks of it. And this is going to be quite close. It's going to be in the 27s. Not quick enough, though, but does improve. Less than a tenth separating these two. That's 600ths of a second, so not a whole lot in it. Lex Hod also in contention here. He just needs to find 2 or 3 tenths, and he is right in the mix.
Lex Holt in contention to take out Samuel Newman.
Lex Hod in contention to do a Senna into turn 1. Wow. Lex can spoil this party here as he goes into the chicane. Doesn't invalidate there. Doesn't invalidate there. Took it very, very well, it must be said. And he's gone straight into the pits. So who's actually out on the track? Mr. Carl Whiteside, who's been racing all season long in every tier. It feels like Carl's been in every tier. He's gone to pits as well. So as it stands at the moment, as Bruce Lee is on a lap, he's going through the hairpin. The Haas of of Pierre Cocula getting out of the way quite nicely. And there's a Ferrari ahead of him of David Ann as he goes into the exit of Spoon. Can be quite tricky for grip around there. You have to be very, very careful not to lose the car. That's where you can bin it. One of the few parts of this track where you actually can bin the car in this year's game around this 3.6 miles circuit. Into 130R, past the DRS detection point. As apparently Regan's internet is deciding not to turn itself back on. And this is going to be quite quick for Mr. Lee. Is he going to spoil the party? No, but he is in P6. Has improved by 4 tenths. So the top 5 all in the pits, waiting now for the next minute or so. Been a great season in F2. It's been quite competitive all season long.
It's the most competitive tier.
Yeah, well, F4 was pretty competitive. If you took Junaid and Camel out of F4, honestly,
if was competitive. Yeah.
If you took Junaid and Camel out of F4, it would have been one of the closest tiers I've ever seen. The same with F3 if you took out Ivan.
Ivan wasn't even the fastest. He was
just
the most consistent. No, he was the most consistent. The other drivers got too many penalties and involved in too many incidents.
Well, Ivan had the most wins in the tier, in fairness.
Yeah, but that's also due to other drivers being stupid.
And only one fastest lap. That is true.
Like I don't know how many pole positions he had, but
4.
4 out of 12 is still good, but it's not dominant.
Well, nobody else had more than 2. Only one person had 2, and the rest were just 1s. Shadow. Shadow. I forgot about you. How can we forget about Shadow? Yeah, to be honest, if you took Ivan out of that tier, I think it would have been very close.
It would be really close, yeah.
Yeah. And they had how many different winners do they have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They had 7 different winners in F3.
How many different winners did we have in F4?
I'm just about to check it. 1, 2, 3, 4,
I know
5,
because of last
6,
week there was
7,
another one.
8. 8 different winners. Yeah.
We would have 7 as well if I didn't win last week.
Still, that's a great statistic there to have. And then in F2 we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different winners in F2.
That's good as well, even though, especially when you know like the 2 in the lead have won, or at least have got so many more points than other drivers.
Well, this is the crazy thing. For example, Harry Jetters, he's only raced in 5 events,
Yeah.
and he won 3 of them.
Yeah.
So I think Harry was a wee bit too quick for this tier now. There's a minute to go.
Yeah, but that's the thing. His attendance was slow.
Yeah. There's a minute to go, and Sam has let Zeman ahead. Or is this Lex? I can't tell. This is Zeman. Interestingly enough here, Lex is right behind Zeman too. And then in the middle of all them is LeBron James. So, is there a bit of gamesmanship going on here now? As we've got 45 seconds, I'm expecting these drivers to give themselves a bit of a gap. Maybe Lex would be... I thought Lex might have given Zeman a bit of a tow here. But it doesn't appear to be so. It seems to be more so the other way around. But... yeah, Lex is going to get a bit of a tow here from Zeman. And Sam is going to get a big tow here from LeBron James. LeBron James acting... kind of sticking his nose in this title fight at the moment. Anyway, here we go. So Zeman's going to be the first one of these drivers to set a time. The other Red Bull of Mohamed Issa is further up the field, but he's not going to have any impact on this. His qualifying is about to finish. Drivers are expecting to start their last laps. The Haas of Pierre Kakula is probably not going to be able to set a time. Anyway, so through the S's we go. Now into the Degnas. It's going to be Zeman first. You have to remember, as he goes there, keeps it quite clean underneath the bridge. Now up into the hairpin. The Red Bull needs to probably get out of the way here at this point. There's a bit of a lock up there. The car just loses a bit of grip. Mid-corner, all okay though so far. I haven't seen if he's actually up in his time. Been paying not much attention on his car. Into Spoon now we go. And is he going to get any dirty air from the Red Bull in front? I don't think he is. That gets very clean there. That's very, very clean. And he's going to cross him. We're going to see who's going purple. This is going to be Lex straight afterwards. He's 2/10 up in his time. Lex not improving. Sam not improving. As I think Sam's getting blocked by LeBron James. Anyway, Zeman's going to cross he's past the chicane, round the final corner. And it's going to be in the 27th. There's a 1:27.6. Lex Hod doesn't improve. Samuel Newman goes pole by 2/10. LeBron James goes third. Wow. Okay, well, any thoughts of blockages or anything there has been quickly dispelled. Wow. Well, that was interesting, to say the least. So, Sam must have got a hell of a tow there from James King. So it will be Sam on pole, then Zeman, then the man himself who's caused a lot of chaos here. Lex Hod in P4, Regan McKinnon, we need to get you back into the lobby. He's currently in P5. Dawid in P6. Bruce Lee in P7, Mason Piper P8, Carl in P9, new Alex Teeter in P10, Pierre, David, Mohammed, and Mark. So much, so soon. And it is dry. I'll try and get Regan back in the lobby quite quickly. As we hear Bastion Breeze building his blocks in Minecraft. Quickly away there.
I'm not. I'm just looting another battle tower.
I wonder if Joseph Hearn will return next season.
I don't think he will.
No.
But that's because I kind of know what he's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if IRL's running anymore, is it?
It is.
Okay. Anyway, Five Lights F2 is about to get away in racing, and they are off. Let's see who gets the better start. Sam getting a lot of wheel spin there, and that's already let Seaman going to get right beside him into turn one. Is there going to be a bit of chaos here? Looks like no. Sam on the outside, Zeman on the inside. Zeman's going to have the lead into turn one. Further down the field, Bruce Lee and Mason Piper fighting Pierre Kakula and Regan, but Regan's not in the lobby. James King holding position, Lex Hot holding position, Regan dropping like a stone at the moment. David and Muhammad and Alex all getting past him. What's going on here though, as Mark Anderson's at a bit of a wobble, but through the initial first sector, Zeman leads the way, though he needs a bit of help from his teammate. And the rest of those involved. Let's have a look at the tyre strategies here. So a mix of strategies between the field. They must have all been watching the F3 and F4 race last night. So you've got Zeman on the medium, Sam on the hards, then James, Bios, Stedu, Bruce, Mason and Mantis all on the mediums, and the rest of the field that are in the lobby on the hards. So Zeman needs to get away from Sam here quite quickly. Look at the positions change. The main one is Zeman and Sam. Everyone else making up the one position that Regan has dropped down from, unfortunately. Vince Vincenzo also making up a position on Mr. Anderson. What a start that was. And now Newman also on the hards as well, probably contributing to that poor start. And he's going to be quite vulnerable to everyone behind him, as everyone trying to break the toe nice and early, as DRS is going to be enabled pretty soon. But only a second and a half separating the top 4, 2 seconds separating the top 5. Not a whole lot in it. No one seems to be dropping back too far just yet. There is going to be a massive DRS train from P1 to P8, and then potentially if Alex gets a move on, new Alex Theodore, he'll be in that train as well, joining up the rest of the dots. But Zeman almost out of DRS range already, and Mason and Bruce Lee fighting down the field for P6. Into the Degnas that overtake was. It was pretty brave. Unusual overtaking spot there. And Zeman has broken the DRS of Sam already. Interesting stuff here. Now, if you're James King, you want to get past here nice and early so that the hard runner is not holding you up.
Human is on the fastest strategy towards the end, but it will all be changed if there's a safety car.
Well, this is it.
If there's a safety car in the first 10 laps, he's fucked. Yeah.
Well, you've heard it there from our expert analysis by Mr. Bastian Bruce. James right on the back of Sam here. Sam is struggling on those hard tyres. And James is just going to sail on by here with the exit he's gotten. DRS wide open. Now, Sam has to be careful here. He doesn't starts dropping lots of positions. Bruce and Mason fighting yet again. And David and Muhammad fighting as well. And Zeman's already checked out, nearly 2 seconds ahead. Great start from him. Realistically, all Sam needs to do is just finish this race.
Yeah, he now only needs to score P6 due to pole position.
Doesn't need to get involved in any chaos. Doesn't need to get involved in any squabbles. And then this is his. You know, he has the comfort of doing that. Oh, as Lex Hod almost goes into the back of Newman there. Into the hairpin, or at the exit of the hairpin, sorry. Lex almost committing a bit of terrorism and channeling in his inner Ryan Shahinen. Oh, all is quieting down here. Over 2 seconds separating P1 and P2. And now James King almost out of DRS range of Newman as well. Newman must be using all that battery to catch him. He's used all his battery up just to stay within DRX. Unless Lex Hod is going to be right on the coattails of Newman here. He's got so much more battery as well. DRS wide open for all these drivers, as Bruce Lee going to be looking to make a move on Dawid, and Lex Hod is going to go for the move into turn 1. He's going to get it done as well. Sam now down to P4. Our alarm bell starting to ring in the Mercedes headquarters back at Brackley. That's going to be a question there, as new Alex Theodore safely getting past Pierre Kokula. Emphasis on the word safely, Matei. As Mohamed Issei into the pits onto a new set of mediums. So Lex Hod now up to 3rd position, Newman down to 4th. Bruce Lee must be sensing blood in the waters here as he's gaining as well. But Sam not leaving Lex. He's trying to move around the hairpin here. This is going to cost him time, to be honest. And through goes Bruce Lee on both of them, and he's up to third. Lex still trying to keep the position, but can Sam on the outside and the exit of the hairpin on the run down to Spoon. And now Dowd getting involved as well. Wow, this is just all going to plan for Zeman here. It just gets better and better for him. And the other part of this is that there's a yellow flag in Sector 2. The other part of this is as well is that the undercut is quite strong here. Right, Bastian?
The undercut is really strong.
Well, that means Zeman's going to be pitting earlier than Sam. He's going to have a fresher set of tyres. As Lex is into the pits! Does he have wing damage? He must do if he's pitting this early. And that's a bit of a saving grace for Newman there. He's back up to P4. And that's really derailed Lex Hodd's charge there. I think that whole skirmishing at the hairpin really making a big difference here. As Newman trying to get past Bruce Lee. You have to stay away from the curbs on Sector 1 of this track. Really do, otherwise it can be disastrous quite quickly. But Zeman checked out nearly 2.5 seconds as Mohamed Issei has retired in the pits. That is his season done.
Oh my god. Yeah, sorry, I just got some insane loot.
Meanwhile, Bastian back in his own world of Minecraft. Newman, though, keeping closely here with Bruce. He's going to be within DRS, but however, Dowd's still on the faster tyre at this stage, and he's rapidly gaining on Newman as well. Is Newman going to be overtaken again on the DRS straight? All depends on the exit here, and Dowd looks like he's gotten a decent exit, but as Newman has a bit of a wobble as well around the final corner. Neither driver really with any battery left. Interestingly enough here. So if a safety car comes out now, it really destroys Sam's race. The safety car window opening up for the medium race.
Safety car in the next 5 laps would be amazing for everyone except for Sam.
Mm-hmm. He'd probably have to pit onto the mediums, wouldn't he?
Yeah. He has to do the same strat like Theodore yesterday. He did manage it greatly, but it's still going to cost him in the last 6 laps then.
Well, Newman has to be very, very careful here just to not lose the position to Dowd, because Dowd will have so much better grip on that exit of the final corner. A few clouds in Suzuka, but nothing to be alarmed about just yet, as there is pockets of blue skies. And Dowd just gaining so much through 130R. He's gained over a 10. He almost goes into the back of Sanda. That's going to compromise him.
I need to DM Bakalik real quick.
Who?
Bakalik, Daniel.
Oh. Bakalik. As Mark and Alex riding further down the field, Mark Anderson up to P11, Alex Theodore down to P12. New Alex Theodore, who's, again, let me just say this, on probation in ERO. Currently riding in P8, Carl Whiteside in P7, Mason Piper in P6, Dowd Statue in P5. Where is Vince Vincenza? Ah, he's in P13. So all going to plan still for Mr. Zeman Iwanik. Bruce Lee now, is he beginning to hold up Sam? That's the question here. As Sam has got a whole charge of battery ready for Bruce. Next time they're on the straight, and he's kind of dropped Dawid just a tiny bit here. Dawid needs to get his move on if he wants to have any chance of getting a podium finish here today. And he's dropping out of DRS at the moment. And here comes Sam, gaining into 130R. It'd be foolish to make a move now because there's nobody else in front of him to give him DRS. That's calm and collected, that's fine. Completely calm and measured. And Dawid's going to have DRS still. Or is he? He's not. And Sam's going to go up to P3 here quite comfortably. And Dawid dropping all the way down to P7. Again, the same thing at play here as Bruce Lee comes right back at him into the bloody S's. Wow. Vincent Alex fighting further down the field. But this is where it's at. Imagine if Zima wins this race and still doesn't win the championship, he'd have won 4 races this season.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's insane. And you really have to feel Monaco just cost him it all.
I don't think it was only Monaco, but also what happened to him at Vegas.
I didn't see what happened to him at Vegas.
Newman touched him in the rear and he collided in the wall and lost at least 3 or 4 positions.
Yeah, but in Monaco, like, he couldn't overtake anybody. He ended up finishing like P50 or something, or P14, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, that's
and he was,
also true, yeah.
Yeah, he was winning the race.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway, Mason Piper now closing in on our champion-elect. Mason touching the grass there on the entry of the triangle chicane. And he's going to be compromised to Carl Whiteside behind as the pack is starting to widen. Newman not able to make a move there. Zeman now 3 seconds ahead. And James King 4 seconds ahead. Big gaps here. Top 3. Well, the top 2 have just checked out altogether. In their own little world now. They can even go into some tyre management if they plan to do so. Which is absolutely great for them.
Is Newman starting to catch up already?
Well, he's 3/10 behind Bruce. We're into lap 9 of 27. And I think those mediums are just starting to dag just a tiny bit. However, it's becoming very overcast now. The blue skies, or the blue pockets of sky, are gone, and it's been replaced by all grey.
Is it gonna rain or is it cloudy still?
It's very, very cloudy, and a bit of rain would really, really make things chaotic. And I think those mediums are really starting to warm up now. As both drivers taking a lot of curve there into the final corner, as Dawid is the first driver today to get a penalty, and Newman is going to sail past Bruce here. And back up to P3 for the Englishman, who has said all along that he really wants that cap. Mason Piper getting past Carl for P5. Into the S as they go. Which is quite a tricky section, technical section. Even the best times, but in a game like this, it's even more technical. And James King having the time of his life there in P2 at the moment. Just probably chilling, listening to a podcast or something. Probably has the stream on.
Probably the stream, yeah.
Yeah. New Alex Theodore keeping out of trouble today, as we say that he almost goes into the back of Dawid. After last night's a horrendous act of terrorism, which the admin team are not too impressed of. There was calls for lynching and mobbing and travelling to Romania to tackle the man himself, but we'll see. He lives to fight another day. Further down the field, Lex Hodd, who had such an impressive start is just in La La Land by himself, to be honest, which is really unfortunate for him. He is catching Alex Theodore and this pack, but he's a lot of work to do to get back into contention. A safety car is where he needs. And speaking of safety cars, if one comes out now, it is in the perfect window for the medium runners. The hards would have to pit to the mediums as well, but this is the absolute perfect window for them, as we're probably entering near the crossover, or we already have entered the crossover period. As you can see, Sam is just starting to pull away from Bruce, nearly a second already. Now the only issue Sam might have here is that when he pits, does he come into a lot of traffic? That's the last tackle or issue he'll have here, as it's getting very, very dark now. Will there be rain? As new Alex Theodore getting past Dowd, and these two are still fighting at the hairpin. And Dowd keeps the position even with that 3-second time penalty. And there's a little pack of two ahead of them of Mason and Carl. Anytime you see 4 or 5 drivers all tucked in together, there is the potential for chaos. Lex slowly gaining up to this pack. About half a second lap, give or take. Just to really get his move on though. Oh, and there's contact there, as the exact same spot as the terrorism last night. Matej collides with Steju. But all is fair in love and war. Meanwhile, Bruce Lee coming right back at Newman here. And Alex Theodore and Vince Vincenza fighting at the back of the field for the last points paying position for P12. Zeman now 4.5 seconds clear of James. And James 5 seconds clear of Newman. And Mr. Bruce Lee is gaining on Newman. He's less than half a second away now. Those mediums are going to start to struggle, as we're just approaching half race distance, entering into lap 13 of 27. Still no sign of the rain yet, if it is going to be coming, but it is quite overcast now. And Bruce has got a great exit there in the last corner, and he's gaining and gaining, and he's going to have his way here. He's got DRS. He's using his battery. Is it enough to get the move completed before the turn? No, it's not. Avoids contact there. Sam goes a little bit wide, and the move isn't complete yet, as we're going to go side by side into the S's. Sam backs out of it for the safety of the championship. Further down the field, David overtaking Alex Theodore. I think it was. Or is it David being overtaken? No, David's overtaken by Mark Anderson, I beg your pardon. And here comes Sam into Degna 1. That can only end in tears, so he backs out of that move to suffer a fate similar to what happened to Mr. Ivan Belov last night, who tried something into Degna 1 and went spinning miles off the track. And Bruce Lee into P3, and he's almost dropped Sam. He's nearly 9/10 clear. So into Spoon, about three quarters of a second in it between these two, and Sam gets a great exit there out of Spoon, and he's gained about 2/10 from that. James saving up all his battery here, as Carl Whiteside is dropping like a stone. Does he have wing damage? And here comes Dawid, having a look here at the Alpine of Matej. Pierre Kokula also getting involved here. Mason Piper also getting involved. Dawid overtaking Pierre for P7. These five very close to each other here. Taking a bit frustrated behind Mason, and he's going to get the move up to P5. Sam doesn't get the move done on Bruce, so the medium's still faster than the hards at this point, interestingly enough. As a yellow flag in Sector 1, who is that for? It looks to be an Alpine. It is new Alex Theodore himself. He's gone off the track with a broken front right end plate. And he's all the way back to the back of the grid. So 5 seconds separating P4 and P5. It's a nice little buffer there. Remember, Sam has to finish P6 or better to win the championship, even with Zeman winning this race. And Sam is just... And it's actually raining!
It's raining?
It's raining! That's it! There's drops of rain out in the sky!
Whoever times the Inter's perfect.
And this is it now. Does Zeman enter the pits? This is the question. Is he going to be brave and go in early? He is. He's in the pits. Our leader in the pits. What is James King going to do? I don't know what James King was doing there. James has stayed out. What is Bruce Lee going to do? Bruce stays out. Newman stays out. Mason Piper, is he going to be brave and gamble? I think he wants to go into the pits, but he couldn't. Dowd is going to gamble on the Inters as well. Anyone else? No, nobody else yet gambling on the intermediate tires.
Simon got this right.
I think so. I think he's got this absolutely perfect. As long as there's no safety car here now in the next lap. As a lot of drivers, just 3 other drivers have gambled. Has Lex Hod gambled? He is not. Lex, you should be the biggest man gambling right now. You've gained so much time back. And the rain is here. And it's a James King. It's an SRS 1-2 is James King and Bruce Lee. I actually don't even know Bruce's second name.
As it stands, McLaren the security constructors.
Yeah. Well, I think they had that in the bag already, as Mercedes didn't have another driver racing today. New Alex Theodore also to the bits. True. So 4 drivers on the Inters here. Let's see, as Zeman's already caught up. He's already caught up that pack. They're all struggling. And Zeman back up to P4 already. So the early pit. Oh, as you see a big spin there from Newman. Big slide there as DRS is disabled. Zeman has done it absolutely perfectly. Who's currently got fastest lap of the race? That would be Zeman as well, and that's not going to change now with the rain out. So the question is, can these drivers get into the pits? James into the pits. Sam also into the pits. Doesn't want to get a speed in the pit lane. Breaks nice and early there. Bruce also into the pits. And watch this. Zeman is going to be ahead by about 20 seconds here. He's going to have at least 10 seconds or so as the whole field pits now. As Bruce has went on to the softs! And he's retired as a result of that. What has happened there? And David's went on to the mediums as well. Oh my God, what in the Ferrari is going on? Some drivers making schoolboy errors with their pit strategies. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord, what is going on here? And I think with that, because Bruce was showing some great pace, I think the top 3 has been kind of set at this point. Zeman 11 seconds clear. If he can get some extra points. Mom. That's going to be all she wrote, folks, I think. So, the last thing here that could derail this situation is a Newman spin, really, because he's got no one around him now. All the drivers are separated. Safety car might cause a bit of chaos, but I don't think there's going to be much more else. We've got entering into lap 17 of 27, and the rain is really starting to get heavy. As Lex Hod's gone. Lex Hod is gone. The McLaren it looks like in Spoon he lost the car. Oh, he's lost a weird position as well. No safety car for that. Okay, interesting. And Newman has closed right up on the back of James King. Let's have a little check of the host lobby settings. So if you're Newman here, you don't have to do any heroics. Nothing special here. James seems to be struggling on the inters. As there's blue flags out on the track. I don't know who for. As Newman gets past James. So Sam seems to be doing very well here on the wet. In the wet conditions. Doesn't seem to be struggling at all. Whereas Mr. King, LeBron James, seems to be struggling big time. Oh, Lex said his wheel decided to just quit. One of the reasons I don't race on wheel in this game anymore either.
That's really bad.
It happened to me in Hungary this season. Do you remember when I paused the game?
Wait, then check the difference of the constructors battle at the moment. McLaren is leading, right?
Mm.
I think it's with 4 points or something.
No, Mercedes is leading by 3 points.
Ooh, so if Simon does finish P1...
They'll be tied.
No.
No, they'll win by a point.
McLaren wins by a point if it stands like this.
Oh la la.
And Simon is already 20 seconds ahead.
Yeah, absolutely destroying the field here. And James already nearly a second behind Sam. What in the Michael Massey is going to take for Sam not to win this championship?
Yeah, it's insane how he wins this.
I mean, there was a few potential banana skins. Lex was there in contention. Bruce was there in contention. Those are two drivers that could have finished ahead of Sam and put in P4 or even P5. But there's another yellow flag in Sector 2. I think that's for Regan McKinnon's AI car as Vince and Pierre are fighting. But in this showdown in the desert, all eyes are on the man in second place at the moment. As 20 seconds is the gap now. Great stuff here from Zeman. Regardless of what happens today, fair play to him. Dumping that much time on the field. You know, there can't be a lot said there. As Ivan Karkarov says, Mr. Ivan Bell touched the grass yesterday. That's why he spun. Yes, Ivan. You didn't have a skill issue. It's okay. Darrell Ann thinks Carl was getting a nosebleed being up this high up in P6 for the first time this season. A lot to be said there for him. Great achievement in F2. But the race just begins to settle down. The rain has actually acted as a bit of a nullifier here, where, well, the big difference now between the skill sets, especially with traction control as well. Traction control is really going to slow people down in the wet. But the top two kind of starting to pull away as well. Sam is over a second away from James, second and a half now. The only thing that really stops him here is a safety car. And a bit of madness, as Pierre Kirkula is this third driver today to get a track limit penalty for too many warnings. As we see Pierre and Vince yet again getting close to each other in the hairpin sector. wonder if the rain continues, though. As Ivan has said in the chat, does it go to full wets? You can see the inter sliding very, very, very closely here, and this is a completely wet line there. Clear as day. Is it going to be full wets? Is there going to be another twist in this tail? Even if it does go to full wets, I still think Zeman is very comfortable to winning this race. However, can James King nab P2? As Bruce has said, he had a blonde moment and changed the wrong mapping of his controls, and that's why he went on to softs. He was having a great race as well, in fairness to him. Some drivers here have raced in a lot of different tiers this season, such as Carl, such as Mason, such as Mark as well. Mark's done when he can. Alex, it must be said, old and new, even if they are terrorists. Regan McKinnon also races in our F1 23 tier, which races on Monday nights, which has been very successful, it must be said. Now 21 seconds is the gap. Speaking of Carl, he's after getting a 3-second time penalty, and that's going to put him behind Mark Anderson now as a result of that. As very big deltas beginning to open up here between the top 5.
I'll be right back. As the race just really begins to settle down at this point. Nothing really happening at all. You got to feel for Zeman. This is going to be his 4th win of the season if things play out the way they are. And he's still not going to win the championship. As Bastian alluded to, Vegas going to play a big part in that. Monaco also played a massive part in that. It's the little things you do that really determine where you finish at the end of the day. Yes, the wins do count, such as tonight, but you have to think if Monaco went the way it should have, if Vegas didn't happen, it might have been a different result. Harry Jeter is also another guy who only raced 5 times, but yet he could have had a chance for winning the title if he'd raced a bit more. This tier definitely has some pace to be said. Rain really coming down now. I don't think it's too far off full wet territory at this point. As new Alex Theodore, the latest driver to pick up 3 seconds for speeding, or not speeding, sorry, for track limits. Well done to you. Now 22 seconds is the difference here. There is no stopping the Polishman as he enters into lap 22 of 27. And James King over 2.5 seconds away from Sam. Then Dowd 7 seconds away from James, and Mason 7 seconds as well. Carl closely up behind. It's really going to take a spin at this point or something insane to happen. Watch Regan's car just DNF now to cause a safety car. As Lex has finally left the session after his wheel exploding. And James now over 3 seconds away. Well, fair play to the top 2. They've been consistent all season, and that's all you need to really be to be a champion. I think there was one year where I won an F5 and I didn't win a race for the first 7 rounds. And Mason now he's going to have a bit of competition in his hands in a second. As
Carl and Mark are also closing in, and that's the closest three. Oh! Speaking of Mason, he's gone off the track. And that lets both drivers past. But yet again, still nothing else happening. Zeman now 23 seconds clear. What a performance here by Zeman. He was dominant at the start of the race, and he was dominant in the rain. And no one else really had an answer for him. As David is racing the AI of Regan, I'm assuming he's lapping him twice over, but... yeah, not a whole lot happening on the track at the moment. Now, Sam and James, 4 seconds separating them. Dawid 9 seconds further adrift. And just a handful of laps to go. Sam's a little bit of a wobble there on the exit of the hairpin, but that's not going to really make too much of a difference, to be honest. As Mark Anderson, the latest driver to get a 3-second penalty for track limits. If you're Zeman here, you're going to be a bit frustrated because he's probably going to end up lapping a lot of these drivers. Or close to it. And James King now going through 130R into the Casio chicane. And he's gained a bit of time back in Sam. He gained about half a second out of him. As you see Mark going through the final corners now. And he's got Carl Whiteside in his sights. Well, I think they're all fighting for P6, as Mason Piper will get past them all, as he doesn't have a penalty. And it looks like we're passing the safety car period in this game now, so unless Sam spins, loses a wing or whatever, I think this is all she wrote, folks. Mason again having a bit of a wobble though. Oh, Mason having a lot of wobbles here. Managing to keep the car on the track up to this point. The Frenchman and Pierre Kakula in PA. PA looks pretty secure for him unless he has a big wobble. Vince in P9, Alex in P10. They haven't really made their mark in this race. Vince started at the back of the field, and it's just by keeping the car on the track made quite a few positions. The game will probably give him driver of the day. And new Alex Theodore, Matei, currently in P11 after a few spins and a few tussles and bustles. David Ann in P12. Darrell will be very happy that David is going to score only 1 point. And here comes Zeman up on the AI of Regan's car. No, it's not going to make any difference here. Now nearly 5 seconds separating James and Sam. Oh, it's James. There's a bit of a wobble there at turn 1. Into the SS he goes. Very careful on the throttle on the curbs. Whereas David's just kind of sending on the curbs. This seems to be the main battle now, and the track is between the two Hasses. As Pierre's car is really starting to struggle now. Are the inters starting to be burned? As the rain has eased up quite a bit compared to what it was about just a few laps ago. As we see the two Theodores New and old about to start tussling on the track. As new Alex Theodore almost loses it at the exit of the S is going through, I think, Dunlop now. And here we go. New Alex Theodore, I think he's doing a party, I'm not sure, but into the Degnas, and he tries to overtake old Alex Theodore, or actual Alex Theodore. And they're just, I don't know what they're doing, just playing with each other, I suppose, at this point. But as we enter in to our penultimate lap, as Zeman goes through the hairpin, 24 seconds clear. It's all about this man in P2. He's had to navigate a tricky field today where there was a lot of potential for catastrophe, there was a lot of potential for error. Losing out at the start as Pierre and Mason still fighting further down the field. As there was a lot of potential for disaster as another 3-second time penalty for Matei. But he's done well. And it's going to be P2 on the track, but P1 where it matters. And you've got a feel for Zeman here. Very consistent season from him. As Mark and Carl fighting for P5. And Sam having a bit of a wobble at a spoon, but it doesn't really matter at this point. As Zeman starts the final lap of this race. And what will be his victory parade for this round, but not for the season. And Sam about to start his final lap in F2 of season 14. Just has to keep it on the track at this point. As the two Theodores fighting yet again for the same spot on the track as well. And David Ann has joined this party. David, be very careful here. You've got two nut jobs in front of you. As around the S's, Sam goes. David getting past one of the Theodores. Can he get past the other? What? Well, bit of chaos here on the last lap of F2. Traditions, as we'd say. However, and Zeman is actually coming up on them, would you believe? He's been absolutely marvellous in the rain here. Matei now somehow getting ahead of Alex and David. Pierre and Carl also fighting into the chicane. Nobody dying here, hopefully. No, all looks safe and stable there. And Zeman will pass through the Casio chicane. It's been a great season from him. It's not going to be enough for the title, but he's going to absolutely dump on the field here. 25 seconds on the field. However, it's the Englishman. This will be only his second win of the season. Great stuff here. He once raced with myself and the rest in F4 or in F5. Now he's going to be an F2 champion. It'll be 2 wins, 3 seconds and 4 thirds as Samuel Newman crosses the line and is your F2 champion for this season. Well done to him. Commiserations to Zeman. Great stuff. James King will cross the line in 3rd. A great maiden season from him, as well as David almost kisses the wall, the pit entry wall. And he'll cross the line in 4th. Mark Anderson, an impressive showing, is going to cross the line in 5th. Carl Whiteside and Pierre Kokula next boat to cross the line. Great racing from them. Well done, lads. In P6 and P7. Vince Venestra. He'll always be Vincenzo in my eyes. Finishing in P8. Mason Piper, who was running so well at one point, and now is going to end up finishing P9. Even with all the penalties in front of him. I know we're just waiting for the likes of David Ann and the 2 terrorists in pursuit. We've gone back to just playing their own game, I suppose, at this point. But you have to feel for Zeman. Great racing by him, great racing by Sam. A thoroughly enjoyable season in F2. It was very close down to the last bell. As as Matei overtakes Alex. And that's going to be all she wrote, folks, in ERO this season. Great stuff, everyone. As Bastian went to get some food or something. Oh, as Mason said he ran out of fuel. And this is your moment, Zeman. You've won the race very, very convincingly. One of the more dominant displays this season. However, it will be P2 who takes the title. Just to round out our provisional standings, Zeman Iwanek in P1, Samuel Newman in P2, James King in P3, David Stejko in P4, Mark Anderson P5, Carl Whiteside P6, Pierre Kakula in P7, Vince Venestra in P8, Mason Piper in P9, David Ann in P10, old Alex Theodore in P11 and new Alex Theodore in P12. That rounds out everybody who finished, with Recca McKinnon being an AI, unfortunately. Lex Todd, Bruce Lee, and Muhammad Issa, it was not your day, folks. But Lex ran a great race at one point until his wheel decided to go doolally. Bruce just put the wrong tyres on in the rain. These things happen. Thanks very much, everybody, for watching. We hope to see you next season, where we'll be starting in just a few weeks' time. Sign-ups are open now, and we will be back in just 4 weeks' time.